Good afternoon. Welcome to Unity of Charlotte. My name is Reverend Jim. I am co-minister here with Reverend Lisa, and we welcome you here on this beautiful fall day. I am so happy to be here on this gorgeous day. We welcome all of you in the sanctuary. We welcome those out on Zoom as well. And if you're watching this on that recording, welcome to our service here on November 19th. Is there anyone here who is visiting, for the first or second time? Just gently raise your hand, and we will simply acknowledge you and welcome you. So it looks like we've all been here once or twice before. So welcome everybody to this service. If you are visiting for the first or second time on Zoom, text us or chat with us real quick. Let us know that you're new, and we will reach out to you as well. Always know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. That applies to those new folks, but it applies to us as well. Wherever we are on that spiritual journey, we are welcome here. I invite even those who have been here before to reach out to others, to reach out to Reverend Lisa and myself, and ask us any questions that you might have on unity in general, or Unity of Charlotte more specifically. Let's go ahead and move into prayer. So, I invite you to relax into this moment, to breathe. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. As we take this moment to move within, into our heart space, into that heart space, knowing that we are one with Divine Spirit. And by extension, we are one with each other. We are one with all of humanity, all of creation. And yet at this time, we also acknowledge the pain that may be felt around the world, especially in those parts of the world who are struggling with war. We acknowledge that. And while affirming the principle of divine order within our lives, these circumstances, these events are in movement as well. Things are lining up for their best outcome. We know this to be true. As we feel peace and harmony in our own hearts, we see that expanding, that same peace and harmony expanding out into our world. And with that spirit that lives within each and every one of us, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. And at this time, we know that there are friends and family who may also be, let's do our prayer of oneness first. Thank you, Jim. Unity's prayer of oneness. So together with me, there is one presence and one power in my life and universe, God the good, omnipotence. And we know that there are loved ones, family, friends that may also be in need of prayer. So at this time, we invite you to say their names or situations gently out loud into this space. We can do that now. We see that principle of divine order coming into manifestation in all these situations, and we know that it is so. Amen. Know that there's also a service that Unity Worldwide Ministries is part of, that's Silent Unity, which gives us the opportunity to call, to text, to chat with online, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can do that as well. And you can download that onto your app. I have the Be Unity app on my phone I use every day to text prayer, also to get in touch with, or to do the daily word as well. I use that. which is a good reminder. I am going to turn my cell phone off. I invite you to do the same. And at this time, I am going to invite up our daily word reader for today.
My name is Maria Malave. I'll be reading the daily word in Spanish and in English. First in English. Today's word is guidance. Divine guidance clears and lights my way. I am divinely guided, moment by moment, breath by breath. With certainty and assurance, I go forth to do what is mine to do, trusting all things are working for good. Even during the most trying times, through my faith, I am assured all is well, regardless of the appearances. Just as the sun shines after a storm, in times of uncertainty, I turn within, pray, and enter the silence where I can better discern the still small voice within me. Then I relax and pay attention to my intuition. I listen deeply to my soul's calling. I am open and receptive to the many ways my guidance manifests. Knowing and claiming my oneness with God, I dare to reach for my dreams. With an unshakable faith, I go forth, expecting to receive clear guidance and direction from the Christ within me. I will instruct you and teach you the way you should go. That's in Psalm 32:8. Now in Spanish. Now remember all you heard. It's going to be in Spanish now. The word is guía. La guía divina despeja e ilumina mi camino. Soy guiado divinamente en cada momento y en cada respiración. Con certeza y seguridad confío en que todas las cosas están obrando para mi bien. Incluso en momentos difíciles, mi fe me asegura que todo va bien, como la calma que llega tras una tormenta. En tiempos de incertidumbre, me dirijo a mi interior, oro y entro en el silencio, donde puedo discernir con claridad la apacible voz interior. Atiendo a mi intuición y escucho atentamente el llamado de mi alma. Estoy receptivo a las diversas formas en las que mi guía sea manifiesta. Al conocer y reclamar mi unicidad con Dios, voy en pos de mis sueños. Con fe inquebrantable, avanzo, esperando recibir una guía y dirección clara del Cristo en mi interior. Yo te voy a instruir, voy a enseñarte el camino que debes seguir y yo voy a quitarte los ojos, no voy a quitarte los ojos de encima. Salmo 32:8. Gracias.
It is my pleasure at this time to welcome Dr. Adrian and the Unity of Charlotte players.
And they're both hopefully very enjoyable. We want to thank everyone that helped us here. We want to thank Reverend Lisa, Reverend Jim for their support every time. We want to thank our crack tech crew, Jim and Will and Alan. I want to thank the actors, and we want to invite you to join us for December. We could use a few more women if you're interested. Please sign up or let me know, because we could use your help. So I want to introduce our cast for the first show, which is called ThanksGiving Explained. And the cast is Leslie and Roberto, and they play themselves. And we hope you enjoy it.
Hello everyone, I'm Leslie.
I'm Roberto.
And today we want to do a presentation called ThanksGiving Explained.
What did you say all like that?
Like what?
Explain. All loud and serious.
It was capitalized in the notes.
Notes?
You didn't get the notes?
No, I did not.
Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, it's Thanksgiving, right? It's fairly easy. We all know what Thanksgiving is. So this shouldn't be too hard, right? Let's just jump right in.
Right. I heard that Thanksgiving comes from two Latin words, ta and gedivicus, which means turkey feast.
Okay. This is obviously going to be very hard. Let's just cut to the part where everybody knows.
The trick or treat.
That's Halloween. Roberto, I know that you come from a different culture, but that's not the same holiday.
The part where turkey dresses up like a leprechaun and shoots off fireworks in honor to our presidents?
I'm not even sure what that is. But it's not Thanksgiving.
You're right. I'm nervous.
Well, let's get right to it and talk about the meaning of Thanksgiving.
Yes! When the cavemen and dinosaurs all sat down together to give thanks?
No.
When the cops and robbers all sat down and gave thanks?
Even more no.
When the cowboys and the Indians?
Oh boy. I want you to sit down and relax. I think I'll take it from here. The original idea that we pull our current spiritual concept of Thanksgiving from is important. It may not be historically accurate, but it influences us because it speaks so clearly to the situations each and every one of us encounter at Thanksgiving. More often than not, Thanksgiving has a way of just creeping up and happening. There's always busyness, family stuff, and other things going on. But what it means spiritually is far more important than that. The divine spirit is our creative force, our creative source, and all things in our life manifest from it through us. So on Thanksgiving Day, we're encouraged to give thanks for the very essence of our being. We're encouraged to consider everything we have, everything that we've taken for granted, and we're encouraged to wonder why we don't do that more. When you think about it, it's nice to give a day to just give thanks for the divine within us and all around us. Imagine if we spent every day as if it was Thanksgiving.
What a lovely thought! Let's do it!
And now for our next skit. It's called Thanksgiving in Therapy. Our cast is behind me. Yes, it is. Our cast as the therapist is Jenny. Thanksgiving itself is Steve. And our next patient is Linda. Welcome to Thanksgiving in Therapy.
Thanksgiving! You're here. I'm so glad to meet you in person. Why don't you have a seat and make yourself comfortable?
Oh, thank you. To tell you the truth, I'm really very nervous about being here today.
Thanksgiving, why don't you tell me why you're here?
Well, thank you. Truthfully, I've been feeling very bad about myself recently.
Can you be more specific?
Sure. Thank you. Well,
You don't have to say thank you every time because you're Thanksgiving. It's a given.
Occupational hazard. To boil it down, I don't think people like me very much.
Really? Why would you say that? Because what? So you feel you make people feel stressed?
Yes, I do.
And why would you say that?
Well, everyone is always worried about their diets, their weight, even while they're hovering by the pies. and then there's always the
I'm afraid I don't.
well, the private conversations.
Family secrets?
No. Who's going to bring the sweet potato casserole? It's always a war. Marshmallows or no marshmallows. Aunt Betty's recipe or the new low-fat version that Whitney makes. It's just so painful. It's hard to approach and see everyone cringe when they realize you're coming. I mean, there's groups of women that start dreading me coming early in October.
I understand. It's okay, Thanksgiving. This must be especially hard for you because you have the exact opposite intention.
Well, so many folks can't carve a turkey to save their lives. And it affects their self-esteem. It's awful to know that I'm the one inflicting all this kind of pain on everybody.
You want to help people focus on their blessings.
Right. I try so hard, Doctor. I really do. But I'm fighting so many distractions.
Can you give me some examples?
Well, take Mary. She must spend $100 on new porch decorations every year. 50 on cornucopias alone. But she can't seem to understand how blessed she is to have her children come visit her every Christmas. She's terribly upset every Thanksgiving because none of them can make it. I think she hates me.
Why would you say that?
She yelled, "I hate Thanksgiving."
Oh, you're experiencing other people's misguided anger. You see, humans are very different from holidays. Holidays have one specific thing that makes you what you are. Humans are complex, and so we make everything around us complex.
But I don't get it. I'm so easy to understand, aren't I? It's a time to come to the table and pray and give thanks for how blessed we are. How can that get messed up?
You can't control how others around you think. True?
Oh, that's so true. The things I've seen over the years. People slurping their way through the cranberry sauce. Aunt Margaret stealing the wishbone. Junior complaining about and refusing to eat every single year because he doesn't like it on his plate. And the things I've heard, Julie told Mike, who told Andy that Beth was...
Yes, I get it. But all you can do is offer who you are. Thanksgiving, and you offer something very special. It's a spiritual time for people to stop the busyness of their lives and come and have a nice dinner with those who love them and thank God for all their blessings.
That's it. That's it. That's me. That's so me.
Yeah, can I just offer you a little bit of advice, Thanksgiving?
Please.
When things get difficult and you feel you've lost your way, one of the best things you could do is stop and count your blessings.
Of course. Of course. Why didn't I think of that? I mean, there's Jennifer. She doesn't have any of her family in the state. So she goes to serve at the mission downtown. and Tim. He lost his wife 10 years ago, but still gathers with his children. And they have this little tradition where they read a list of blessings they received all year. There's just too many to count, but plenty to get me through this year. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I am so glad I could help you, Thanksgiving. Oops, I think it's time for my next appointment. Stay strong. Call me if you need me, Thanksgiving. Christmas, you're right on time.
Oh, I don't know who I am.
Come on, sit down. You hit this wall every single year. Every year. But it's going to be okay, I promise. It's going to be okay. Oh.
Merry Christmas, everybody! And Feliz Navidad!
Merry Christmas!
There my go. Exit stage left.
All right. One more round of applause for our incredible players. Thank you, Adrian. Thanks all the players. That was so fun. We so appreciate you. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone, because it's coming up this week. And what better way to start than to send a shout out of thanks to all of you who serve Unity of Charlotte. So I just want to send a shout out of thanks to our hospitality team who keeps us in potlucks and coffee all year. Our youth ed team that's been showing up faithfully every Sunday, kids or no kids. Our Sunday service team with our ushers, greeters, and our daily word readers. Sounds a little Dr. Seuss-ish there. And gosh, who else we have? Our tech team, of course, who's here every Sunday. And all of our class and workshop facilitators, those who are showing up to help us go deeper into our youth principle, our true principles, our board members who are carrying the business of this church in a way that allows us to keep going. So thank you to our board members and to everyone else who jumps in, because there's so many of you who may not be officially on a team, but always jump in to help out. Oh, we have an SM ministry we just started. I forgot that's starting to take start rolling out. So many wonderful things that I just want to give everyone a shout out of thanks from Reverend Jim and myself to let you know how much we appreciate each and every one of you and grateful we are to be sharing this experience with you. And that's kind of what Thanksgiving is, right? Thanksgiving. It's a time for us to pause, as so beautifully illustrated in the skits. We take time out to focus and pause and look at what we're grateful for, what we can give thanks for, what we feel blessed with that we don't think about every day. And that's a really wonderful thing. So actually, let's just do that right now. Let's just take a moment. I just want you to sit back and close your eyes for a second. And just think about your life. Think about your life as it is right now. And think about at least 2 things you feel a heartfelt appreciation for. As you're thinking about them, tune into how it makes you feel. How does it feel in your body? How does it feel in your heart? How does it feel in your soul? Well, I'm going to tell you that for me, it feels really good. It feels uplifting. What about you? Thinking about something that really you feel such a heartfelt sense of appreciation for. How does that make you feel when you just pause and think about it? List. Nice. Anyone else?
Warm and fuzzy.
Warm and fuzzy. Good. Good. Fulfilled. Thank you.
Connected.
Connected. Nice.
Joyful.
Joyful.
Content.
Content. Thank you. Yes. Expanded. Good.
Appreciated.
Appreciated? Nice. So, wouldn't it be amazing to live here? This is a nice place to find ourselves. And that's what Thanksgiving is really for. It's to bring us back out of our busy lives where we start to forget sometimes how much we have in our lives going for us, how much we are blessed in this life, and put our focus back on it. But today I want to talk about the difference between giving thanks and gratitude. Have you ever thought there's a difference between those two? We use them interchangeably a lot, and that's not wrong. You certainly can do that. But I want to talk about today gratitude as one of our powers. Remember, we talked about the 12 powers for the last few Sundays. The 12 powers are what Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity, created to describe attributes of our eternal Christ self. So we have an eternal Christ self, a Christ consciousness, that place that we live and express as God. We get that God expressing through us. And it has these attributes like faith and love and strength. But gratitude could be another power. Because, as Myrtle Fillmore, the other co-founder of Unity, says, Thanksgiving and gratitude are qualities of our soul. Qualities of our soul. Now, when I use the word soul, it can have a lot of different meanings depending on what context we're using it in, but I'm using the word soul to mean that eternal life that we are. That is an extension of God, spirit, life. It does not have a beginning or an end, but it expresses through our human experience, and it grows and it learns and it expands. So if these are qualities of that soul, then really there's no reason we couldn't be from this place. So let's talk about the difference between gratitude and thanks. I looked it up in the dictionary, and the definition of gratitude is a quality of being thankful. So it's a quality of being thankful. Take it a little further, it says thankfulness is an emotion. Thankfulness is something we feel. And usually, thankfulness is tied to an experience or something that comes into our life that gives us pleasure, that we're happy to have. Right? Everything that you thought about that you feel blessed by, was it generally associated with something good in your life? Reverend Jim brings me a Starbucks latte with oat milk. I am so thankful. Then we have a sunny day to go ride our bikes. I feel thankful. The doctor gives me good news. I feel thankful. Right? There's things that come into my life that I call good, and I feel thankful for them. And this is a great thing, don't get me wrong. But gratitude is an attitude. It's a state of mind. It's bigger than being thankful. Thankful is an important part of gratitude.
And it's probably a natural expression of that state of mind. But gratitude isn't associated to just the things that come in that I decide I'm thankful for. Gratitude is the state of mind that allows me to accept any situation I find myself in and be able to find a sense of appreciation. Now, that's not always easy, is it? Because life doesn't always flow the way we think we want it to. So it really takes a change of mind. And that's the power of gratitude, a state of consciousness that allows me to live in thanks. I found an interesting little tidbit is that the Bible mentions the word gratitude 157 times. It only mentions thanks and thanksgiving about 72 times. And I thought that was interesting. But if you think about the Bible as scripture, as lessons for bringing us closer to God, for strengthening our relationship and connection to that one source, gratitude is what that is. Giving thanks is important. Thanks and praise are everywhere throughout the Bible because it's a practice, right, of getting us into a state of gratitude, a state of mind where we remember our source and we're living from the faith and knowledge that everything we need is given. And that, what was the song we were singing? Infinite love is all there will ever be. So that no matter what circumstance I'm standing in, I can find a sense of appreciation. Now, how is it that we can move into this sense of ThanksLiving? ThanksGiving, ThanksLiving. Living in that moment, living in that experience of gratitude and thanks. And it's a practice. It's a practice. That's what we do. That's why we do the gratitude practices we do. Is why we appreciate Thanksgiving and taking the time to count our blessings, right? But the state of mind it helps us come into brings us into a greater awareness of that in everything. I found a little article that was talking about gratitude practices, and it said there's 3 ways you can practice, and I thought they were interesting. One, I will bet many of you are doing or have done in the past, and that is to find things in your own life that you're thankful for. And there's all kinds of practices that help you do that, right? How many have like a gratitude journal? Some have gratitude journals. Or maybe before you go to bed at night, you write down 1 or 2 things you're grateful for. Yeah. Or you get up in the morning, you write 1 or 2 things you're grateful for. This is a constant way to bring that sense of gratitude back into our hearts and our minds. And it went on to say that think beyond just the tangible things in your life. And I thought that was a good challenge, if you, I might use that word, because we often look at, well, I'm so grateful for the food I have. Oh, like my Starbucks coffee, right? It's one of the first places we go is to the tangible things in our life that we're grateful for. But what about those intangible things? Like connection, friendship, family, love, truth principles. When I really take this open wide, I feel such an appreciation, gratitude that I know about spiritual truth principles that I can put into my life to experience a state of gratitude. The second thing that they offered was to rethink your struggles. Because when I'm in the midst of a struggle, it's not always that easy to go, thank you. And I'm probably not going to do it, right? But I can pause for a moment and remember struggles I've had in the past and how I have come through them and what I learned and grew from through those struggles. Not only do I remember I did come through them, but I was changed and I grew and I deepened my relationship with who I am and with my source. So we rethink our struggles, and that's a way of feeling a sense of appreciation, even in those moments. So don't deny how you feel about the struggle. It's okay to feel frustrated or angry or sad, or those are human emotions that we're going to have, and we want to allow them. But know that that's a part of a process. It's not the end. And there can be an appreciation for the broader journey we're on. And finally, the third way was to find ways to express gratitude to others every day. Nothing can be, we often sit and count our blessings, but how often do we count blessings for others? And this is a great way to grow that sense of connection, because it opens our hearts. And when we open our hearts and connect to others in a sense of appreciation and honor, we grow closer to God. My experience then brings me closer to my source. I found a beautiful quote by Reverend Erin McCabe. And she writes, honoring each other cultivates a field of consciousness that is gratitude. Honoring each other cultivates a field of gratitude in our consciousness. So how important is it to remember others as we're really building our gratitude consciousness? And this is the way we can move in to a life that expresses gratitude instead of just for a season or a day. And I have a really quick story of how this might show up. And I can imagine many of you have your own stories. But Reverend Jim and I were in Olive Garden, I believe, there to have lunch. And they seemed to be very short-handed. They seated us in the bar area. And the server was a little frazzled. And our first response was, oh, what's wrong with her? We're going to get terrible. We just started criticizing. We just started judging. We just, sometimes you go into that place of, and then we looked at each other and we said, wait a minute. What experience do we want to have here? And we said, we don't know what she's going through. Why don't we be here to help her out? Why don't we see her and honor the service she's providing in whatever way she's able to? And we did. And of course, we had an incredible time. Her service got way better. At least that is what it appeared to us, right? Because now we weren't in a hurry. We were having a good time. We were appreciating her. She appreciated having customers appreciating her. And the whole experience was uplifted. And that's not a small thing. It's not a small thing. There are so many opportunities we have to bring a sense of upliftedness to someone else's life through a consciousness of gratitude. So I just want to add one more quick thing, because I see our time's coming up, and that is to mention Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, the story we tell at Thanksgiving with the pilgrims, of course, is whenever we have historical stories we celebrate, they're always going to be idealized and kind of mythologized, right? But this particular story has come to a time when it needs to be retold, because the way it was told left out a great part of the history of what really happened. And that has caused pain and suffering to those whose story is not being told. And of course, those are the Native Americans. So every Thanksgiving, well, actually all year long, but Thanksgiving in particular, I remember the greater story is there was relationships between the settlers and those Native Americans, and there was some support and help, but mostly it was tenuous at best. And usually, as we know, the history after that day just led to a devastating and decimating effect on the Native American tribes. So I now stand in Thanksgiving, and I remembered the whole story. It's about reclaiming that past so it can be healed. What do we do in our own spiritual journey? In our own personal spiritual journey, if there's some shadow we refuse to look at, how does it get healed? It stays buried in our subconscious. So by bringing that story out, we're able to look at it, forgive it, heal it, and release it. Well, we do that as a society and as a culture also. And so Thanksgiving for me is an opportunity to do that. And I share that with you so that we can join in knowing our oneness and the sacredness of all life with God as our source to allow that healing to occur. So I invite you, as you're joining together in your Thanksgiving, however it is you're celebrating, and say a prayer, give a moment to healing that past and bringing forth and reclaiming an equality, an equity, and a healing of all people so that we can really start to live on this planet. So thank you for letting me share that. I hope you will take that to heart and include that as part of your celebration. And now I'd like to invite you to just for a moment, we're going to do a very short, actually, I'm going to skip that because we're kind of running out of time. I invite you when you go home to do a short meditation together, maybe. It's a great practice, right? Sit and just be quiet for a moment. Reflect on the goodness in your life. Reflect on the goodness in other people's lives. The appreciation for all people, even those who challenge and vex us, because they are part of our growth. And find a way to move from a moment of Thanksgiving to honoring all those so that we live from a consciousness of gratitude. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Now's the time that we move into that offering part of our service, that chance for us to give back to our ministry and into our community as well. So please join me and join me for the prosperity blessing. Joyously I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. We are light. The love of God enfolds us. We are love. The power of God protects us. We are power. The presence of God watches over us. We are presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.